And welcome back to Getting Loose with Leon, NASCAR news without access. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside you this afternoon by himself as we get ready for the Bass Pro Shops Bristol night race Saturday night under the lights there at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. We got a jam-packed show, lots of good bets coming up for you. Make sure to check us out online there. You can follow us on X at Getting Loose Pod, on Instagram at Getting Loose Podcast, and on YouTube at Getting Loose Podcast, and on Rumble as part of the Let's Not Do This podcast. Haven't spun off the new channel for that one just yet. So still with those idiots over there, but also on Facebook at Getting Loose with Leon as well. So lots of good stuff to get into here. Thank you for joining us and tuning in on this lovely Thursday evening, September 11th, 2025, as we get ready for NASCAR and the playoff eliminator. Some dreams are going to be broken. Some guys are going to be hurt. We know some tippers are going to be flaring because we're doing a little short track racing on Saturday night. So let's take a look here at the playoff standings right now. Going into Bristol, you see Denny Hamlin on top there with the win. Chase Briscoe has a win as well. Going down here, you see where it cuts off at Austin Cindric right now, plus 11 to the good there. Some guys are on the opposite side of that, maybe not feeling as good about things right now. You look at a guy like Josh Berry, he has been absolutely just wretched so far through this playoff turn, just a bunch of bad luck, and what can go wrong has gone wrong for him. So you got to feel for that 21 team. Shane Van Gisbergen, you knew it was going to be a tough climb for him to get through this first round here. Obviously, if he could, there's a road course awaiting him in this next round here of the playoffs, but he's going to get there first. And it's going to be a tall task for SVG to get there. But hey, this guy's going to be in the playoffs every single year for as long as he is in NASCAR because, hey, let's face it, where there's road courses, Shane Van Gisbergen is your guy. And you got to bet on him all the time. But maybe a tall task for him to try to get there this week. So it'll be interesting to see some guys and how things go. Alex Bowman, I think it's a guy who a lot of people are going to be really concerned about going into this week. That 48 team, for whatever reason, they just can't figure it all out right now, whether it's issues in the pit or a mechanical issue or just bad luck getting involved in something. It just seems like they've been off and off for a while. They've made some changes this week, did some little switcheroo, little musical chairs with Carson Hocevar's team there on the 77, switching up some pit crew guys to try to get him, a little bit better performance there in the pits because, hey, let's face it, it's like football. You got offense, you got defense, you got special teams. And NASCAR, your pit crew is kind of like that special teams, and that can make or break a race for you. And Bowman is a guy who's been fast here before. He's qualified on the pole here, twice. So he's done it. He had a car last year that was, a top 5 car before it blew up. So he's a guy who knows how to run on this. He does well on concrete tracks as well. You look back at Dover and what he's done there as well. So he's a guy that could be in the mix, but for whatever reason, this 48 team has not been able to figure it out, especially over the second half of the season. And it's just one thing after another. You got to wonder if they don't advance in the playoffs, could there be some changes coming with that 48 team? Because Mr. Hendrick isn't going to settle for that. Hendrick Motorsports expects more out of that 48 club, and we've already seen some shuffling around of the pit crew with them switching up some guys with Hocevar. So we'll see what happens there. But let's get into it. Let's get into the picks for this week, and these picks brought to you by absolutely no one. If you want to sponsor that, shoot an email to info@letsnotdothispodcast.com. That's info@letsnotdothispodcast.com, and we can set you up and sponsor some things and see what we can do to help you, help us, help you. So let's get into it. Saturday night, as we mentioned, under the lights at Bristol, 7:30 start on the USA Network. I know I'm going to have that YouTube TV rolling with the picture there, watching a little college football and this NASCAR race as well. Let's get into it. Look, it's Bristol. Bristol means Larson. Kyle Larson, I got him. He's the favorite. Yeah, it's chalk. It's the chalkiest chalk that you have ever chalked. He's plus 280 right now on FanDuel Sportsbook to come away with the win. And let's face it, he's had turbulence this summer. you kind of go and trace his issues back to where he's not necessarily been the same guy going back to after he did the double at Indianapolis. And that was a rough day for him. And I don't know if something just broke in his spirit or what, but he just wasn't the same guy for a long time there. But let's look at recent performance. He's got two top tens in his last four races. He was just outside of that this past week, finishing 12th at St. Louis. And here's the thing. That was a top 10 car. I mean, it was a really fast car. You saw him absolutely blow the doors off Denny when he passed for the lead at one point during the race last week. He had that diffuser issue, though. That diffuser would not stay up. You saw it dropping down. You saw the guys under the car trying to push that thing up, trying to get it to wedge up in there. Just a little bit of bad luck there. But, with that issue, that was still a fast car, and he finished 12th last week. Let's go back to April. Kyle Larson absolutely dominated. One of the all-time ass whoopings that anyone's ever put on a racetrack. He led 411 of 500 laps for the win. All right. This guy is dominant at Bristol. All right. He's led 873 of 1,000 combined laps in the NASCAR Cup Series last two races at Bristol. All right. This year, his spring race at Bristol, he picked up a win there. He's got, three career victories at Bristol? I think that's four tracks now that he's won at three times. I think Kansas, Michigan, and Vegas, if I remember correctly. He's led over 1,700, close to 1,800 laps at Bristol all time in his career. And that's the most of any track, I think, by over 700 laps. He scored 8 top fives here and 13 top tens in 18 starts. And then last fall's night race, he had that playoff walk-off as he punched his ticket into the next round with that win. So this is a guy, if it's Bristol, if it's concrete, he's your guy. He is a big betting favorite this week. Yes, it's chalk, but give me Kyle Larson at plus 280 on FanDuel Sportsbook as the favorite here at Bristol. Also, chalk again, but hey, I mean, we're in the business of making money here, all right? Denny Hamlin, you can get him right now at plus 500 on FanDuel Sportsbook. He is the playoff points leader right now. He is the leader of wins, period, this season. He's got 5, count them, 5 wins this season. He's on a heater in qualifying. He's got back-to-back poles, including the track record last week at Gateway, where, by the way, he also took the checkered flag there. Oh, and, he's sitting on 59 career victories right now. He picked up victory number 200 for Toyota last week. He's won 4 times at Bristol overall, including 2 of his last 4 trips, and he's already won on concrete this year. He won at Dover back in July. He had a second place earlier this year at Bristol as well. This guy loves these kind of surfaces. He loves this track. And we're seeing like a lighter Denny Hamlin right now. It seems like a guy who is just not letting it get to him. He's not really stressing trying to get to the championship and win that. You listen to his podcast, Actions Detrimental, and he's like, hey, I'm about winning races. He even downplayed the, get on the bandwagon or get run over thing. He was like, hey, I'm talking about winning races, not necessarily the championship. And, he's talking openly about his retirement. This is his last deal that he's on. He's a guy who feels like, at least outwardly, it looks like it's a guy that's at peace with what he's done in this sport and knows that, hey, at this age, I think he's like 44, I'm still running well. He's running about as well as he's ever have in his career. And he just seems like a guy who's calm, he's confident, he's collected, and you got to look out for Denny the rest of this playoffs, and especially at Bristol. So Denny plus 500 at the last great Coliseum. Also, another guy who loves the concrete, Christopher Bell. You can get him right now at plus 850 on FanDuel. Listen, we know the frustrations. We saw it kind of lashing out at the crew on the radio a little week. Very Christopher Bell like after that, but maybe that's what he needs. Maybe that's what that 20 team needs. Maybe Christopher needs to get that dog in him a little bit, as the kids say. He has 3 wins on the series. Of course, he won 3 wins, in a row earlier this year. That feels like 3 years ago almost. And of course, he had the All-Star race as well, but that doesn't count. We know he can win. His best performance on this traditional configuration at Bristol was in the night race back in 23, where he started on the pole and led 187 laps, ended up finishing third that day. He has won at Bristol before, but remember, that came back on the dirt. This is a guy who's also one of the best drivers in this sport on concrete. He's always dangerous. The Toyotas are really fast right now. JGR is just dialed in, it seems like, as a team. Chase Briscoe, this guy has been one of the more consistent performers as well during the playoff run so far. So you got to watch out for this 20 team. Christopher Bell, always dangerous at a place like Bristol. All right, moving over to some of the other picks here. Ty Gibbs, once again, JGR. You can get him right now for a top 5 on DraftKings at plus 240. This number actually started to move. I believe earlier in the week it was over 3 on one of the books. It came down to 260 earlier in the day. Then I looked just now, right before the show, it's down to 240 right now on DraftKings. This is all about value. I love a plus number. You don't see me give about a lot of minuses. You don't see me give out a lot of things just over 100 on this show. I love value. He's got 2 top 5 finishes and 3 top 10s and 5 career starts at Bristol. Has led more than 100 laps in 2 of those top 10 finishes. And by the way, this year, the youngsters put together 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s this season. He keeps flirting with bigger finishes. He keeps showing up. He keeps going there. Eventually, he's going to break through. Eventually, that win's going to come. Could this be the week? I'm not sure, but I'm going to drop a plus 240 for him right now at BetMGM on that. All right, next up, we got Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, another guy, consistent this season. All right. Not the flashiest pick in the world, just been solid this season. He's got top 10s this year. He runs aggressive. And you know what? You give that to me at plus 150, kind of an insurance policy to balance out the board a little bit. A little bit lighter odds. I like him here. He has been fast here, just consistent. So far this year, hasn't really done anything to really wow your socks, to blow him out of the water or anything, but just every week he shows up. He's fighting. He's in contention. Next thing you know, you look up. It's like Rory McIlroy at a major. He just backdoors a top 10 finish. That's Ross Chastain. Give me Ross, top 10, plus 150 right now. You can get that on DraftKings. All right. And you know me. I love to give you a little sprinkle. I love to give you a little underdog to look out for each week and stretch those odds a little bit with a long shot. This guy, I went back and forth with a couple people. Alex Bowman, honestly, was there. I was looking at for some long shot odds this week just because, hey, he's got that Hendrick team behind him. I know they've had their issues. They've made some pit road changes. How do those guys gel? Can they, make a key late stop? Maybe he can steal a win. He has run there very well. I don't know. I just feel like they have too many issues recently to kind of overcome. Just sometimes things just don't go your way. And there's certain teams, kind of like the Cleveland Browns, for example, where things just don't seem to go their way, where you kind of get in this little spiral and you just can't get out of it. That's what the 48 team feels like to me right now. So I'm going to leave him off of that. So for my play this week, I'm going Ty Gibbs plus 2,000 to get his first career win. That's my long shot this week. Ty Gibbs plus 2,000 on BetMGM. 20-1 odds right there. Is it likely? No, maybe not, but that's what these little long shot sprinkles are for. Listen, these Toyotas have been running really well lately. JGR is dialed in right now. This kid, obviously not in the playoffs. He's got nothing to lose. He can fight. He can be aggressive. And this is a track that, he's run really well at in the past. They want to get a win for this kid. I think, Bristol is a track that could create some chaos. You feel like you either get a boring race or you get a really exciting race there. And if things get exciting, especially with Goodyear and its new tire, you heard Denny Hamlin talk about it on his show this week. They tested this thing out and it pretty much like disintegrated. So if we get some tire wear, we get some issues, we get some flats going down, we get some guys spinning and beating and banging, guy like Ty Gibbs, who should be running up toward the front anyway, could sneak away with this thing, especially if we get an overtime situation. Guys, maybe a Austin Cindric, maybe a Alex Bowman, somebody that's trying to advance and get to that spot to get to the next round. Maybe they make a move, overcalculate, get into an accident. A guy like Ty Gibbs can sneak through. So give me Ty Gibbs plus 2,000 for my long shot play this week. So let's run through everything real quick just to recap it again for your betting card. Chalk, chalk, chalk. Kyle Larson plus 280 on FanDuel. He's the king of Bristol. Maybe you could say king of concrete right now. I don't know, but Kyle Larson plus 280 on FanDuel. You see the sizable gap to the next best odds for someone. Denny Hamlin plus 500 on DraftKings. I mean, you can't go wrong with Denny. He's hot right now. That 11 team is just dialed in, and this is always a track that he's fast at. Um, Qualifying is big here too. Track position is big. He's a guy, is coming off 2 straight poles, always runs fast here. So, especially if he can get that car up front at qualifying, look out, world. Here comes that 11 team again, and maybe that 60th career victory as well for Denny Hamlin. Christopher Bell, another guy well versed in the concrete, as we talked about. You can give him at plus 850 right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. I like the fire that I saw about him, last week. Just not happy. Felt like he had a better card than where they finished. I like what I'm seeing out of that. I like a little spark from him. It's uncharacteristic. Maybe he's got that killer instinct. Maybe those teeth are showing. Maybe he's ready to go out and take this thing by the horns and push his way through. I like what I'm seeing out of that 20 right now. I like the fight, and this is always a track that he's dangerous at. He's always good on these type of surfaces. Christopher Bell, 850 on FanDuel. Ty Gibbs, like I said, a guy who consistently is always in that top 5 realm, top 10 realm. Seems like he's getting better and better each week. I like him and he's run well at Bristol, led a ton of laps. I like him at top 5 plus 240 there on BetMGM. Give me Ross Chastain plus 150 on DraftKings for a top 10. Once again, nothing sexy. He just shows up, consistently is there. In the race, you'll look up lap 490 or something, and you're like, hey, where'd he come from? Like, where he was in 15th most of the day. All of a sudden, he snuck into a top 10. Wouldn't be surprised to see him finish a little bit higher, too. I actually really like him this week, but I like the what I feel is a safe play there for a top 10 at plus 150. And then Ty Gibbs for my long shot, plus 2,000 on BetMGM to get his first career win and maybe be a little bit of a fly in the ointment for some guys this week. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for your time and listening. Sorry, we've kind of dropped off a little bit on doing the actual podcast. We've been putting out the picks, but just not doing the podcast. That's me. Hand up, being lazy. We'll get back to it. We'll finish strong out the rest of the way for the playoffs. So hope to see you guys Saturday night. Maybe we'll hop online, maybe do a little live afterwards. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. But we'll put up some picks. And if also, if I see some props or anything like that before the race, we'll put those up on Saturday too. So thanks for following along. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that button right there in the lower right-hand corner on the YouTube. And we'll see you next week right here on Gettin Loose with Leon.